With the latest Metal Gear production hotline, we got a lot of new information on Fox Hunt, finally revealing how this game mode is meant to work, but also answers long-awaited questions the community has had about the future of the franchise. Just what exactly are those questions? Well, stick around and find out. The presentation opens with the introduction to what Fox Hunt is supposed to be. Fox Hunt is meant to be a Fox training program that is part of the same world as Delta, where you play as a potential new recruit for Fox. Fox Hunt itself is an elimination-based battle royale where there's 6 teams of 2 on one map trying to complete objectives. In this case, capturing Keratons or Gakkos. There are 4 phases of which teams can get eliminated for not meeting certain criteria in the mission objective, and it keeps happening until one team is left standing. You can respawn in these modes, but you still have to make sure your team completes their objective before time runs out. In Fox Hunt, everything is procure on site, and you will have a backpack where you will have to carry all your food, weapons, and mission critical items within it. The weapons you find in the field will be very familiar as they're all MGS5 weapons. Not only that, but there will be a weapon rarity system akin to what you'd see in battle royales of today. We don't know to what effect these rarities will influence a given gun. Will it do more damage, for example? But it's something that exists within the game. Now, you won't have the survival viewer to protect you while you eat food this time around. Everything is done manually here, so you will have to be paying attention to your surroundings to avoid getting shot while eating your food. To help you in this survival mission, you will have the ability called Naked Sense, which is basically the threat ring from MGS4 on steroids, where you can scan your environment, highlighting things like food, items, boxes, or even enemies, not just in front of you, but on the radar too. If you scan an enemy for enough time, they will be highlighted and you can actually see them through walls. The person being scanned gets an indicator above their head to know it's happening, and if they're quick enough, they can actually evade the scan by equipping their AT camo. AT camo allows you to blend into your environment by mimicking the surrounding material similar to that of Octo Camo, but way more active, as you actually need to manually switch if you want to match a given terrain. Now, Naked Sense did seem pretty strong to me, but as you can see during gameplay, it drains your stamina incredibly fast, and the only way to raise your maximum stamina is by finding food out in the field. Also, the way you detect people using Naked Sense depends on how much noise the other player is doing. If they move around a lot, the silhouette fills up quicker, revealing them much faster. But if you're standing still with AT camo, it fills up slower. Also, since Naked Sense drains stamina, using it can leave you open to stun damage, so you could technically be one-shot by a tranq gun if using Naked Sense recklessly. Now, as far as content, we were shown 3 potential maps, one of which looks entirely original, and the other 2 look like spin-offs of Groznygrad and the zone right before you face the end where you can find the M60. Apart from that, there are 2 game modes currently confirmed, those being Survival Capture and Survival Intrude. Survival Capture revolves around you capturing a Keraton and having it in your inventory by the time the phase ends. You can play this mode a lot of different ways. One of them is actually trying to steal all of the Keratons that exist on the field to make it harder for other players to be able to survive the phase changes. The second game mode, Survival Intrude, has you trying to find Gakkos, stay within a certain zone that the Gakkos display. It doesn't matter if another team captures the zone in this mode. All that matters is that you're within the zone yourself. So theoretically, if you can manage to hide in plain sight within the zone, you can survive until the next phase without needing to fight anyone. As you can see, there are many ways to win within Fox Hunt that don't necessarily require getting kills. Now, how possible will it be to perform these kind of stealth maneuvers without getting caught? Well, that remains to be seen. Your rewards for playing Fox Hunt will be various random loot boxes that you get over time. No, you can't pay for them. They confirmed it as much so far. But within these loot boxes, you can get suits, camos, codex, and even additional AT camos to equip. You will also be able to get unique emotes as well. The release date for Fox Hunt will be October 29th for North America and October 30th for the EU and Asia. Of course, that wasn't all we got on this production hotline, as the team also answered very important questions that people really wanted answers to. These are translated via YouTube's auto captions, so they will be paraphrased pretty heavily. If there's an actual direct translation of these answers, I'll try to leave them in the description or a pinned comment. The first question was about how if the team's values at the production level have changed since releasing Delta, and what emotions went into making it. Okamura answers that their initial goal was to create a new team capable of making Metal Gear once again, and that they feel that they have been able to achieve that a little bit, and that the best they can do moving forward is to continue conveying their enthusiasm so that the young members on the team can carry it forward as MGS is passed on to the next generation. I honestly respect Okamura for this. The idea of passing on MGS to the next generation was something Kojima always has been trying to do. I can't imagine it'd be easy, but it's currently something that they're trying to do, and I can commend them for that. The next question was, why do Fox Hunt and not a new MGO? Okamura said that making MGO requires a lot of hands to get to the level it needs to be, and since they were all hands on deck for Delta, it just wasn't possible. And it was decided early on to focus on something like Fox Hunt instead. But he does acknowledge that fans of MGO have been waiting a long time, and he says it's not like we aren't going to make more or anything like that, and that it's only natural to try and potentially take on the challenge to make a new MGO in the future. As far as why Fox Hunt though, he says it was to take advantage of the jungle environments created in Metal Gear Solid Delta and try and make a hide and seek type game mode that takes advantage of all the foliage and allow you to blend in and have fun with all the survival mechanics therein. Which honestly, it does sound a lot better than the original answer they gave, saying that the entire gaming landscape has changed and that the game was impossible to be made just didn't sound good. And this so far is a lot more realistic answer that I personally can totally understand. The next question a lot of fans probably have on their mind is, where's Master Collection Volume 2? Okamura jokes about having to answer the hard questions, and well, the reality is that Volume 2 is still not ready, but they are making progress. He couldn't say when to expect it, but he hopes to have an announcement soon. If you want my guess, I feel like they're stuck on making MGS4 work. The reality of Volume 2 coming out is that it's entirely dependent on getting MGS4 to run outside of the PS3, which is a monumentous amount of work. It's taking years just to be able to emulate it somewhat properly, and that's with decent hardware. So if there's any reason Volume 2 hasn't come out, my guess is because of that. And the last question is, what is the next remake for Metal Gear Solid? Okamura goes on about how if they decide to do anything, it will probably end up being pretty different compared to Delta, and the effort required would be different too, but that he personally would like to remake MGS1. But it's a bit of a fantasy at the moment, and he can't promise anything. Personally, I think MGS1 shouldn't be the remake that comes next, though I can understand why Okamura would want to. I think Portable Ops would be a better fit, but that might be a topic for a later video. That's all the important information to be given from the production hotline. There was more stuff, like the photo mode contest, some more merch announcements, a reminder of the Delta Force collaboration with details yet to be announced, and finally, some patch notes for Delta that didn't seem all too substantial. So, what do I think about all this after it's all said and done? I do think Fox Hunt looks a lot better than I initially assumed. It's more than just glorified prop hunt, and I'm willing to admit that I overreacted there. But I still have worries in that whether or not this game mode will have any staying power beyond a few months. I still believe if we manage to get a single map pack or something like that I'd consider it a miracle. But hey, I'd love to be proven wrong, so go ahead Konami, show me what you got. I may do a more in-depth analysis on my thoughts on Fox Hunt in the future, but for now, those are my thoughts. So what do you think about Fox Hunt? Do you enjoy it? What do you think about the Q&A? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you guys on the battlefield, in Fox Hunt hopefully.